Hello class, welcome to week number 1 of 16. And I'll not take time to go into all the details of my introduction, but my name is Dr. Dan, and if you watched the welcome video, which I hope you did, you would hear a little bit about me, my background, my education, what I do for a day job, and so I'm so excited to get to know you, looking forward to, getting to know you by name and your writing style and a little bit of your story. You'll be able to share that through this journey. Week 1, and I'll come to you each week with a video like this. It will either be posted in Moodle or it will be sent via email before the start of that week. And it really is just to encourage you, to let you know how we're doing on our posts and our papers, and to say a little bit about this week's lesson. And so this week's lesson, of course, we start with the Emotionally Healthy Leader, which is a great resource. We're going to be in this for the next 6 weeks, actually. We're going to look at about half of this book, the first 5 or 6 chapters. And at the end of each chapter, there is an assessment. And that becomes your paper, 1 to 1.5. It doesn't have to be a long paper. Really, I just want you to report what you found out about yourself through the assessment. And again, it doesn't have to be a long paper. 1 page is fine. 1.5 pages is fine. I would not go beyond 2 pages. I really look for concise writing. And to fulfill the assignment, that's what I really look for. And be careful about grammar and punctuation and all those kind of things as well. I use Grammarly to help me grade. So if you use Grammarly, you might check the spelling and different things like that with it. Don't let it write your paper, though. Make sure you view our AI policy for life. It needs to be your original work and all the things you do, your post, your papers, your signature assignment at the end of the class. So this week we're going to be looking at chapter 1, the unhealthy leader, if you will, or what kind of makes you unhealthy. What are things that can cause you to be unhealthy? As we go through this week, you'll be required a 250 word to 400 word post, initial post, and then 2 follow-up posts. And all of that has to be done by Sunday. We like you to post right about Wednesday, between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of every week. And that way it gives students enough time to read yours and post. Your initial post, again, is 250 to 400. And your response to each person, to each student, is 150 to 250. Okay? At the end of the week, again, you'll have an assignment to do an assessment that's found at the end of the chapter. Some of you are using a PDF file that I believe was free. So if you're using that, I don't know what page number it is. If you're using the book, the page numbers are 34 and 35. That's where the assessment is. And again, this week we talk about unhealthy commands. And let me just tell you a little story about my leadership. I pastored a church for 16 years. I was on staff at a church before that for 8 years, and then I became Heartland District Supervisor in the Foursquare Church, and I did that for 12 years and now have a national role. And but I found in my leadership that there's highs and lows in every leadership. There are seasons where you're extremely busy, and seasons maybe where you're not. And what I learned about myself is I'm a fairly driven individual. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, if you study the Enneagrams, and I like to accomplish things. And the problem with that is, I mean, it's good to get work done. The problem is I become a workaholic very easy. I remove the boundaries and the margins in my life so I can work. And eventually you find out that you are running on empty. Now, here's one of the challenges leaders have. Running on empty can become a norm. And what I mean by running on empty is not filling up your own soul, not taking a time out, practicing the Sabbath, and we'll talk about that through this week, practicing slowing down to let God work through you. But I was pretty driven, and I always had work to do, and still today, after this many years, I have to watch myself because I can easily become depleted, and again, depletion can become a norm. The problem is you can run on that for a little while, depletion, but eventually it will crash. Eventually it ends up in depression or emotional things, or even worse, some sin or moral failure or something like that, because we just deplete our soul, and God has never called us to serve Him without Him. God has never called us to do whatever you do, whether you're a business person or you're a pastor or you're a plumber. God wants to be part of all of that. And it's important that you fill your soul, and it's important that you have a thriving relationship with Jesus. And so remember that, and as we look at the unhealthy commands, just be honest about yourself. This is a great time just to assess yourself. Some of you may be very young in leadership, and you don't know yet where you stand, but may this be a point where you put some boundaries in your life. Some of you may have been leading for a while and you realize, oh man, that's me, or I'm on a journey to become depleted, so I need to fix that. Let me pray over you this week as we begin. I pray that the eyes of your heart will be enlightened so that you will know the hope of His calling. What are the riches of the glory of His inheritance in the saints? That's for you today, Ephesians 1:18. God bless. Have a great week.